With the last bully gone, the CEO is ready to tie up all the loose ends. Will he take revenge on his own best friend, or will he take revenge at all? Find out in the final episode of The King of Pigs. The episode starts with Jin Ah dropping Kyung Min's journal in shock when she finds out that Jong Suk had deliberately killed Cheol by pushing him off the building. We are taken to a flashback where Cheol is waiting for Kyung Min outside his house. Kyung Min again tries to talk him out of killing himself, and this time, Cheol is happy to hear Kyung Min worry about him and gives him his old baseball as a token of thanks. He asks Kyung Min for a copy of the picture they took together and leaves to meet Jong Suk. Jong Suk's reaction is the opposite of Kyung Min's as he tries to convince Cheol to go through with his plan, since he was their savior and placing a curse on those demons was the only way he could save them from this hell. Cheol laughs at this comment, saying he was just a middle schooler who couldn't even save his dad. He assures Jong Suk that the show they'll be putting on tomorrow would keep their bullies away, but Jong Suk isn't convinced. Jong Suk is not in his right mind because he's convinced that Cheol is some type of god that would return to them after death. And he's also convinced that Cheol dying is the only way they can escape from this hell, so he decides that he would become a monster to survive. The scene shifts to the present, where all the officers rush over after hearing the gunshot. Jong Suk lies that Kyung Min had shown up and directs everyone in the wrong direction. Jong Suk is slowly losing grip on his reality, so when Cheol's hallucination starts to leave, he follows after him, constantly firing his empty gun, intending on killing him again. The next day, the media is bustling with the news of Dog Park's death, and surprisingly, people are in favor of Kyung Min for killing a disgusting criminal like him. Kyung Min is ready to execute his final plan, but before doing so, he visits the grave of his wife. And there, we see exactly why his wife wanted to kill him. In a flashback, we see Kyung Min's wife returning home early to find her husband talking to himself about killing someone, and further saying how he was ready to kill everyone who had wronged him in the past. She panics even more when she finds bloody clothes hidden in Kyung Min's office. She asks for some sleeping pills from her psychiatric friend and had decided to end everything before Kyung Min could turn into a monster. At the police headquarters, all of the senior officers had decided to dismiss Jong Suk's team from the case and hand it over to the senior investigators since the case has attracted a lot of media attention. The police chief is holding a conference regarding Kyung Min when the man himself shows up and answers all of the media's questions. Jong Suk becomes scared that Kyung Min would say something in front of everyone and drags him away, but he's stopped by the police chief who asks him to stay out of this case. But turns out that it isn't Kyung Min he should be worrying about, but Jin Ah, who was still contemplating what to do when she received a call from Cheol's mother, who informs her that Kyung Min had come to apologize and gave her a bag full of money. She asks Jin Ah to take the bag away and begs her to find her son's murderer. In the police station, Kyung Min had admitted to all the crimes he had committed, but the officer still feels like he's hiding something, so they ask Jong Suk to talk to him. Jong Suk turns off the mic as soon as he sits down and asks Kyung Min what he wants from him. Kyung Min simply states that he wants Jong Suk to confess his crime and ask Cheol's mother for forgiveness. At first, Jong Suk denies everything, but then Kyung Min reveals that the day Cheol had gone, he asked Jong Suk for help. Kyung Min had followed him and heard everything they talked about. He even followed Jong Suk as he went to the abandoned house and saw the letter he had left behind, but he couldn't make sense of anything until the next day. When it was time for the assembly, he had rushed to the rooftop scared that Cheol's plan would go wrong, only to see Jong Suk pushing Cheol off the building. He quickly hid and was unable to say anything due to his shock. Jong Suk becomes scared after hearing this, but he quickly composes himself and tells Kyung Min that no one would believe the word of a serial killer. To which, Kyung Min shows him all the comments of the people online that spoke in support of what Kyung Min did to the bullies. Kyung Min points out that even if he lies now, people are most likely to believe him over anyone else. Just then, Jin Ah walks in and locks the door behind her. She shows Jong Suk all the evidence she had collected and tells him he would be prosecuted for the crime he had committed. When Jong Suk points out that the evidence isn't enough to prosecute him, she says that she would take Kyung Min as a witness. That's when Jong Suk realizes that as long as Kyung Min is alive, no one can save him. So he comes up with a plan to abduct Kyung Min without drawing the suspicion of him. He lies to his seniors that Kyung Min had taken another victim and refuses to say the location, insisting on taking them there himself. The plan works, and Jong Suk and his team are assigned to escort Kyung Min to the location and back. Jong Suk is hoping he could somehow ditch the other 3 cars escorting them, and surprisingly, it's Song Jin who unknowingly helps him. Song Jin receives the news that the police are escorting Kyung Min off somewhere, and he orders his people to stop them. The people hired by Song Jin cause an accident that affects all other cars, but allows Jong Suk to slip away. Kyung Min keeps trying to convince Jong Suk to confess his crimes and start over, but Jong Suk is scared of being the outcast again and is determined to never give anyone any reason to bully him again. To make that happen, he would have to eliminate the witness, and he's more than ready to do so. Song Jin had caught on to him and started attacking his car from behind, so he speeds up and makes a split decision, deliberately turning the wheel, making the car go off the rails and into the river below. As the car sinks to the bottom, Jong Suk quickly escapes through the window, and for a moment, he hesitates to leave Kyung Min behind, but in the end, he swims away alone. Kyung Min struggles for a while before losing consciousness, and Jong Suk is in no better state. That's why he doesn't notice Song Jin searching through his jacket for the keys to the handcuff. Song Jin immediately dives down to free Kyung Min. He had barely finished giving him CPR when the police arrive at the scene. Song Jin helps Kyung Min to his car, and Jong Suk follows them, determined to catch Kyung Min before he escapes. Unfortunately, he was too injured, and by the time he had reached them, they were already gone. At this point, Jong Suk doesn't care about anything other than finding Kyung Min and killing him. So, when he sees a car coming his way, he stands in the middle of the road and fires his gun as a warning before hijacking the car. On the other hand, a worried Jin Ah has arrived at the scene and immediately finds the nearest CCTV. She realizes that Jong Suk is beyond saving when she sees that he had deliberately caused the accident. Now determined to stop him from committing another crime, she orders her junior to track his phone. In a faraway location, Song Jin is trying to convince Kyung Min to change his mind, but Kyung Min is adamant that it all started with him and Jong Suk and it must end with them. When Song Jin insists on coming along, he reminds him of his niece and asks him to take care of her instead. He then calls reporter Jong Bin and asks him to release the story he had asked him to write. Jong Bin reads his resignation letter and sends a mail to all the news outlets, along with the name of everyone who was involved in the bullying 20 years ago. This effect was immediate. Someone had opened a site called Digital Prison and revealed the name and personal information of all the perpetrators that were involved. It wasn't long before people started identifying the perpetrators in real life. An office worker, Go Han Jin, started receiving looks from his colleagues and was called in by the director, who has been receiving several emails asking him to fire Han Jin. The same thing happened with Park Jae-woo, who was Jong Suk's desk mate. He was also confused when all his workers left the table when he approached them during lunch and couldn't understand why everyone was looking at him. But it all becomes clear when a child asks him if he had bullied someone in the past. The life of all the perpetrators was already turning into hell. On the other hand, Jin Ah couldn't make sense of why everyone's name was revealed when Kyung Min hasn't mentioned anything about these people bullying them. Before she could think further about it, she receives a call with Jong Suk's location. When Jong Suk couldn't find Kyung Min, he decided to wait at the hospital where Song Jin's niece was at. When Song Jin returned to his niece after he had burned down Kyung Min's bar, he was confronted by Jong Suk, who demanded Kyung Min's location. He refused to give it up at first, but when Jong Suk pulled out the life support of his niece, he had no choice but to tell him. As Jong Suk was leaving, he runs into Jin Ah, who pleaded with him to stop before it was too late. She even holds him at gunpoint, desperately trying to explain that what happened 20 years ago could be overlooked, but if he kills Kyung Min now, it's over for him. But Jong Suk was beyond reasoning. He begged Jin Ah to stay out of his business and left the hospital discarding his phone so she couldn't track him again. Jin Ah knew that Jong Suk was going for Kyung Min, so she convinced Song Jin to give up Kyung Min's location. Sitting in her car and thinking back about everything, she finally understood what Kyung Min had meant when he said that he would do what Cheol couldn't do. Kyung Min had meant that he would commit suicide in front of everyone and place a curse on all their classmates, just like Cheol had wanted. While Jong Suk was busy waiting for Song Jin to arrive, Kyung Min had set a trap for his last victim. Principal Seok Ki is sitting in a bar when he receives a call from the authorities demanding an answer for the allegations made against him. He gets into his car, cursing the person who made the digital prison. But his rant is cut short when he feels a knife against his throat, and Kyung Min injects him with something, knocking him out. He takes him back to their middle school and ties him up at his old desk. He then cuts his wrists, making him bleed slowly. While Kyung Min is busy talking to Sung Jin, Seo Ki had gained consciousness and was screaming for help. Seeing that Kyung Min had no intention of letting him go, Seo Ki starts begging him for mercy, but Kyung Min ignores him and instead connects a call on his phone. He explains that his only chance of survival would depend on the pigs he had raised all this time. He would leave his phone where any one of his other classmates can find it. But the question is if they would come and save the teacher who had neglected, bullied, and misled them all those years ago. Saying this, Kyung Min leaves to scatter a few books on the playground and drops the cell phone next to the books. He then goes to his old classroom and writes a message to all his classmates, telling them to come to their school if they wanted to find the evidence of their innocence. Immediately, everyone leaves what they're doing and rushes to the school. Jong Suk is the first one to arrive, and he immediately goes to find Kyung Min in their old classroom. Jong Suk can't help but ask why Kyung Min decided to act out after all these years. And Kyung Min explains how 1 year ago he had found the picture that the three of them took the night Cheol had declared that he would kill himself. He says that's the first time he had seen Cheol smile, and explains that Cheol was only smiling in the picture so Jong Suk and Kyung Min wouldn't get cursed like everyone else. He wanted them to remember him by his smile and not get depressed over losing him. He becomes angry that even in his last moments, Cheol was thinking about them and Jong Suk had gone and killed such a precious friend. He curses Jong Suk for becoming a police officer and living the life that Cheol had wanted for himself while forgetting what he had done to Cheol. They engage in a fight and Jong Suk loses when Kyung Min stamps on his wound. Kyung Min sees Cheol outside the classroom and starts following him to the rooftop while Jong Suk chased after them firing his gun. On the other hand, Jin Ah and their classmates had gathered outside. Jin Ah immediately follows the sound of the gun while the others rush to the book thrown on the playground. They were busy searching for the non-existing proof of their innocence while ignoring the call from their homeroom teacher who was desperately screaming for their help. From the rooftop, Kyung Min sees all his classmates running around the field looking wronged. He curses at them for playing innocent, saying that even if just one of them had dared to raise their voice, the hell they suffered wouldn't have been so painful. He turns around to call Jong Suk over, but Jong Suk was already behind him. He immediately grabs Kyung Min's neck and starts choking him. He reminds Kyung Min that it was him who had tried to help Kyung Min first and then suffered along with him. He desperately tries to make him understand that he suffered every day since he had killed Cheol. And just when he was starting to forget, Kyung Min had decided to dig up old wounds again. Kyung Min was slowly starting to lose consciousness, and it looked like Jong Suk was about to kill him. But in the end, Jong Suk releases him. He tells Kyung Min that he's now surrounded by many powerful people and that he won't crumble down and suffer along with Kyung Min anymore. He's about to leave when he feels a handcuff around his wrist and sees that Kyung Min had tied them together. Kyung Min reveals that what he wants to do is place a real curse on all their classmates who have lived and forgotten everything. He wants them to suffer for the rest of their life. Saying this, he jumps off the building, catching everyone's attention. Jong Suk is desperately gripping the wall to keep himself from falling, but when Kyung Min looks at him and asks him to go see Cheol together, his face crumbles with guilt and regret, and he slowly releases his grip, falling together with Kyung Min. Unfortunately, Jin Ah had arrived just in time to see Jong Suk fall and was unable to save him. The pigs below all start running away as soon as they see Kyung Min and Jong Suk fall. The curse has been placed, and their final job is done. In the final scene, we're taken back to the time of the picnic when everyone was divided into groups playing treasure hunt. Jong Suk and Kyung Min were alone, so when Kyung Min sees Cheol sitting alone, he decides to ask him to join their team. Cheol refuses at first, but Kyung Min doesn't give up and asks Cheol to join them for lunch. He tries refusing them again, but his stomach gives him away. Later, they're searching for treasure together, and Cheol finds a fluke clue, so the others decide to flick him in the forehead as a punishment. Kyung Min does his turn, but before Jong Suk could do his, Chan Young calls them over for a group picture. The whole class assembles to take the picture, and in the final moment, Jong Suk turns to flick Cheol's forehead before they all happily turn and smile at the camera. Thanks for watching. If you fancy more recaps, check out this video.